Now regarding this area, Baysan, regarding this area, this reference is given, I left the reference. This reference is given from the Jewish virtual library.org. So this can be checked. But they quote a Muslim historian. The Muslim historian is al-Yaquti. This was given to me by Abu al-Hasan. The Crusaders also built a square fortress south of the Tell. It seems that the Crusaders were not too kind to the region. The Muslim geographer Yaqut, so this can be verified from our sources also, writes that as of 1225, the many date palms that used to exist in the area have been reduced to 2. So in the time of al-Yaqut al-Hamawi, this sign already took place that the area of al-Baysan stopped giving fruit. And currently speaking, the Jews, they used insecticide for the dates. The dates in that region are suffering. Remember, the Jews disliked the olive tree also. We will go on to that later. Because apparently the Palestinians hide behind the olive tree and shoot from behind the olive tree. And the Yahud hide behind the boxthorn tree, al-Gharqad. So now we go on to this sign regarding the Sea of Galilee. So if we go back here at the top, this is Tabriya. Al-Imam al-Tabarani, Suleiman bin Ahmad al-Tabarani was from here, from this region. All this region is a Sham, Palestine. And Al-Quds al-Sharif is here. If we go towards this way, that is where Damascus is located. And here is Tabriya, also known as the Sea of Galilee, upon which Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salatu wasalam performed many miracles. Now the Sea of Galilee will dry. But before we move on to some of the ahadith on that, let's look at some of the facts. The hadith of Tamim ad-Dari also has additional wording. This additional wording is narrated by Al-Imam Abu Dawud, and he adds the wording. This is why I said if you look at all the narrations, many interesting facts come out. He said that Dajjal said, وَهَلْ غَارَتِ الْمِيَاهُ, have the waters began to disappear. This is one of the signs of the end of times. And we mentioned this in the previous lecture, that toward the end of times, the water sources will become scarce. Dajjal will only appear when there are droughts, when the earth will become dry. We will look at that sign later. Now what they say, this is from the independent.co.uk. So it's from the UK. According to some, from Dajjal's island itself. The waters of the Sea of Galilee are now at their lowest on record. And officials say, are set to fall even lower. The crisis is both natural and man-made. Man-made by the Yahud. The Jews are drinking the water. This is not anti-Jewish propaganda. So in case the British courts get too excited to arrest me, I would want to clarify, the Zionist Jews are drinking the water. The crisis is both natural and man-made. 4 successive years of droughts with rainfall less than half of the annual average has combined with the lack of snow on the peaks of Mount Hermon to lead to the shortage. At the same time, Israel's relentless pumping of water to irrigate farmland and supply homes has been massively worsening the situation. So the Zionists are drinking the water and fulfilling this sign of the end of times, that the water will eventually finish. But when will it finish? It will finish in the time of Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, as we will mention. This is from the Washington on times.com. It states A dwindling water supply in the Sea of Galilee is pushing Israel to increase its use of desalination plants, with plans to expand 2 facilities and build 2 more by 2000 and, which year is that? 10. The biblical body of water is 16.2 feet below its lower red line, which marks the point at which it is ecologically inadvisable to draw water according to the Israeli Water Authority. So even the Israeli Water Authority is saying, we have gone beyond the point of a return. Yet Israel continues to draw water from Galilee to drink and to irrigate crops, said Yuri Shor, a water authority. He said, we have no choice. According to him, they have no choice but to do so. So this sign is also coming about. This will continue to decrease until a Dajjal appears. It will finally go away. The hadith states, when the last batch of Ya'juj and Ma'juj appear. Here's the water stats. This is some of the statistics. As you can tell, written in Hebrew. And these are the statistics, official statistics released by the Israelis. This information, the links were given, some of these links were given to me by Abu Hassan. This is an aerial shot of the Sea of Galilee. An aerial shot of the Sea of Galilee. Now, we move on to this video. Another video regarding the report on the Sea of Galilee and the current situation.
The Sea of Galilee, or as it is called in Israel, Lake Kinneret, is in fact the only natural water reservoir in the country. The lake has great historical significance and is supposed to provide the water for most of the population in Israel. However, in recent years, its water level has dropped sharply. Is there true cause for concern?
I remember how its color used to be a stronger blue and the water was cleaner. Can you see the water line? Almost 5.5 meters are missing. All this was full of water. It was full. 7, 8 years ago. This was its maximum height, and slowly it began to drop.
We turn to the authority responsible for providing water to the population, hoping to learn why there is so much less water in Lake Kinneret today.
It's simply that there is less rain. Something has changed. Something has happened. We're talking about the whole region. The whole region is thirsty for water. I'm very worried about the lack of rain and about the drop of water level, both in Lake Kinneret and other water sources. This is the 7th year in a row without substantial rain. We're at the end of January, in a clear, beautiful day.
We learned further that the whole region of the Middle East shares the same plight as that of Lake Kinneret.
The whole drainage basin of the Kinneret is a very large area that includes a part of Israel, a part of Lebanon, and a part of Syria. This means that all of this huge area that is supposed to nourish this lake also suffers from lack of rain.
We expressed our concern, asking whether the situation is indeed so serious.
This is a line we wish very hard not to have reached at all. The bottom red line is the water level under which processes begin to take place, ones that are causing damage to the quality of the water and damage to this whole water source.
The reduction in water quantity of the Sea of Galilee has many implications, pertaining to more than just drinking water.
Part of the concern of reaching low levels is that the whole fabric of fauna and flora may sustain permanent damage.
And indeed, fishermen that we met seemed to be deeply worried.
This situation has serious effects on the fish. They should be coming close to the shore to lay their eggs, but they are not coming now. When there was water and it was cleaner, you could drop a net anywhere and catch fish, huge quantities of them. Now the fish are extinct. Everything here starts to disappear.
People's livelihoods have been affected also.
People in Tiberias used to make their living mostly from fishing. Today, sadly, there are no fish. The water level is going down. The old fishermen are tired. Only a few have remained here.
And what does Kinneret's Water Authority spokesman think of the current situation?
It's obvious that when the water level is dropping and the level of saltiness goes up, changes would occur in all aspects of life in the lake, and certainly that could result in a total reversal, wherein the lake would become a dead lake. There is no denying that this is a big problem, and I'm very worried.
NTD News, Israel.
So this shows the dates of Baysan have started to disappear or have disappeared. The Sea of Galilee is drying. Now we move on to another sign regarding the Euphrates River. This hadith we covered in detail in the previous lecture. Sayyiduna Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh reports the hour will not be established until the Euphrates uncovers a mountain of gold. People will fight over it, and 9/10 of them will be killed. In the narration in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, there is the wording, until from every 199 will be killed. In the wording in Bukhari, Muslim and Abu Dawud, there is, soon the Euphrates will uncover a treasure. Whoever is present must not take anything from it. But what this relates to the coming of a Dajjal is where he stated, while gharatil miyahu, have the waters started to become scarce, have the waters started to disappear. We will look into this sign of the Euphrates River, and in the previous lecture what we covered was that this cannot refer to gold. We already mentioned this in detail. But here, the New York Times published a report on Tuesday about the research carried out by NASA and the University of California, Irvine on the Eastern River System. This is from National Geographic. Scientists found during a 7-year period beginning in 2003 that parts of Turkey, Syria, Iraq and Iran along the Tigris and Euphrates. Remember, the Tigris is called Dajjal or Dijla. Why is it called Dijla? The name Dijla, it's because it covers the land. They call it Dijla. It's not in relation to Dajjal. It because it covers. And remember, we said one of the meanings of Dajjala is to cover the land. So the Euphrates River basins lost 117 million acre feet, which is for 1,144 cubic kilometers of total stored fresh water. NASA and the University of California, Irvine said in a joint press release, the researchers said about 60% of the loss is due to pumping groundwater from underground reservoirs which are located in Turkey and Iraq. J. Famagligeti, whatever his name is, the principal investigator of the study. Remember, they don't make an effort to pronounce our names properly. When they don't make an effort. To this day, they say Mohammed. Learn how to say the name properly, and then I will learn how to say your name properly. The principal investigator of the study and hydrologist and professor at the University of California, Irvine, stated that the decline rate intensified especially after a drought in 2007. So how many years ago? Can you guys count? The rate was especially striking after the 2007 drought. So there was a drought in 2007. Meanwhile, demand for fresh water continues to rise, and the region does not coordinate its water management. Of course it doesn't. It's ruled by Bashar al-Assad and the current Iraqi government. Water management because of different interpretations of international laws. So each ruler gives his own ta'wil, interpretation of the laws. And because of this, the Euphrates River is starting to dwindle, which is one of the first signs of the appearance of Imam al-Mahdi radiallahu anh. Now Zughar, the spring of Zughar, Dajjal asked regarding this spring. Here is the area known today as Zora. This area known as Zora has a spring called Zughar. I was not able to locate detail pertaining to Zughar spring itself, but it does seem from reading the reports that the spring has disappeared many years ago. Okay, this is the translation of the hadith of Ya'juj and Ma'juj when they shall appear after Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salatu wasalam has killed Dajjal, and Ya'juj and Ma'juj will pass the Sea of Galilee. The hadith states, Allah Most High will inspire Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam that such a creation of mine is now going to emerge that no power will be able to stop them. This is the description of Ya'juj Ma'juj, which cannot be Russia or America, because the Muslims have stopped Russia and America. Afghanistan alone proves that the Muslims are able to stop Russia and America. One region alone, the area of Afghanistan. So their description is such that no one will be able to stop them. America is leaving Afghanistan soon. Tribal men armed with the Kalashnikov and wearing slippers are able to kick out the Americans. Therefore take my servants and ascend the mount of Tur. So Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam will be told to climb Mount Tur. The Ya'juj and Ma'juj will emerge and surge forth in all their fury. When those from among them who constitute the former part of the army pass the lake Tiberias, Tabriya, which is Sea of Galilee, they will drink up all the water of the lake. So this means that the water will not disappear. When the sign of a Dajjal appearing is that the water will decline. So that has happened. The water will decline, but it states that the rest of the water, the remaining water, will be drunk by Ya'juj and Ma'juj at this time. They will drink up all the water of that lake, and by the time those that constitute the latter part of that same army. So this shows the appearance of a Ya'juj and Ma'juj is at one time, meaning the army will appear, they will march past the lake, the last part of the army will drink. It does not mean that Ya'juj and Ma'juj are currently located in Israel and they are drinking the water. No, those are Yahud, those are Jews. This is in reference to Ya'juj and Ma'juj when they will appear in the end times. Of that same army, will say there was much water here once. When they reach the Mount of Khamr, this is a mountain in Al-Quds al-Sharif. They call it Al-Khamr because it is covered in trees. Like intoxication covers the mind, the trees cover the hill. They will arrogantly proclaim, we have conquered the people of the earth, now we will annihilate those in the sky. So saying they will fire their arrows towards the sky. When the arrows return to the ground, they will be blood-stained. This we will go on to later. But one point regarding this hadith is that Ya'juj and Ma'juj cannot be the Romans. We will look at decisive evidence that modern day Russia and Europe fall under the category of a Rum. They do not fall under the category of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Ya'juj and Ma'juj are a creation that have not appeared on the face of the earth today. As for the hadith of Sayyiduna Salma radiallahu anha, it is explained by another hadith in the al-Jami' of al-Imam Tirmidhi, which mentions that the hole created by Ya'juj and Ma'juj is sealed every day. So every day they make a hole, but the next day the hole is sealed. And one day that hole will not be sealed. But we will look at decisive proof shortly as to how Ar-Rum is modern day Europe and Russia. Here, the previous article I said was from National Geographic. This report is from Newswatch, National Geographic. Driving north from Basra along the Shatul Arab, the waterway that forms the confluence of the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, desert engulfs you. The only patches of color on the landscape are posters for Iraq's April 20th provincial elections. As the road branches and you turn northwest following the route of the Euphrates away from the Tigris, the river takes some time to appear. The Euphrates no longer extends all the way to Shatul Arab. According to Jasim al-Asadi, director of the southern Iraq branch of the environmental NGO Nature Iraq, non-governmental organization, it has been diverted back into Ohar or Mesopotamia. Mesopotamian marshes, our vast wetlands nestled in the crook of the Tigris and the Euphrates confluence. Mesopotamia is Central Asia, where people like Nimrud lived. So this is showing that this region now is drying. And this is one of the signs of the appearance of a Dajjal, also the appearance of al-Imam Mahdi RadiAllah an. This is the Euphrates when it is running its course, but soon this river will dry. Now, when it does dry, a mountain of gold will appear, a literal mountain of gold. Just having a look at another sign before the appearance of a Dajjal is this hadith which we covered in detail previously. There will be in my nation 30 liars, each one claiming to be a prophet. However, I am the finality of prophets. La nabiyya ba'di, there is no prophet after me. Narrated by Imam Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi and Ibn Hibban. Of course, this is a hadith mutawatir. The hour will not be established until 30 liars appear. The last of them is the one-eyed deceiver. And these liars have appeared. We know of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, but we also know of Al-Ansi. We also know of Musaylim al-Kadhdhab. Many liars, all of them have appeared. The last one is left now, who is the one-eyed liar.